Hello and welcome back to the Overcome Yourself podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I am so excited to be here with like a ballet dancer, a coach, a public speaker, a best-selling author, and that is Rachel. Welcome, Rachel. How are you today?
Pleased to be here. Super excited. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here. It is amazing. So, take it away. Tell us about you, Rachel. You have such an amazing journey and you've done so much. I want to hear all about that the ballet and how that transferred into a business after you had your kids.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll start with where I am right now, and then
Yes.
I'll kind of go back to how I got to where I am. Right now, I'm a business strategist. I really work with coaches to really empower them on their mindset and their business. And a lot of it is really due to kind of self-belief and actually setting that prize on the goal and really knowing where they want to be. So I focus on developing their business from the foundations, combined with a real approach to having that entrepreneurial mindset. How I got on really into this, it's kind of a little bit of a strange story. I used to be, yes, a ballet dancer. Absolutely adored that world, but it was very, very tough. It taught me discipline. It taught me really how to focus on what you wanted to achieve. It taught me how to understand setbacks and how to kind of use them in a way to actually progress further in your career. I stepped away from the dance world. I got married. I had my beautiful children that are now so much children anymore, but young adults. And what happened was I kind of actually lost myself a little bit in that time, because I was really just focused on serving the children, doing family life. And one day at the school gates, my daughter, she makes a run for it. I get her, she's absolutely safe, but I'm out of breath. And I think to myself, gosh, I'm really so far away from the days of being that dancer, fit, focused, and I just really lost my identity. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do something about it. So I started to get back in shape myself, using all the dance moves that I'd learned, obviously, in my career. And from there, I then sort of started to help other women get in shape. That then became a group exercise class. I was super nervous about starting it. And there is when you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone and go, I'm going to do this. From that, I then started to get requests from people I've known in my past, ex-dancers who are now mums or working mums doing something completely different from the dance world. And I helped them to set up group exercise classes and their own ballet-inspired fitness businesses. What I realized in that journey at that point, that the biggest thing holding these ladies up, including myself, was my mindset. So I really worked on self-development, and I actually then got myself mentors, because I'm a firm believer that find yourself someone that can get you there a lot quicker. So I got myself Bob Proctor as a mentor and Hatton City as a mentor. From there, I then went into life coaching, and then I combined, as I developed, into really developing women in business through my experience building my own ballet-inspired fitness business. I actually have a property business now as well, and then combining that with the journey that I did on my self-discovery, my self-development journey, and hence that's where I am today, which is really supporting women. And the reason I do it more than I really focus on women is that I wanted to be an inspiration for my children. I wanted them to have the belief that they could do anything they wanted. They didn't have to follow convention if that's the way they wanted to go. And I wanted to create a legacy that if you believe in your dreams, you can have your dreams. And that's kind of why I've got this feeling that I want to support women, because I think we can then really support future generations and create a legacy. So that's how I got to where I am today.
That's beautiful. And you know what? We do need, women supporting women. Like, we've got to help each other. There is a lot of manly advice out there. And so having leaders such as ourselves who are standing up and leading women and letting women know it's okay. It's okay to want to be big and to be bold and to take those steps and to be a leader and to show your kids, like you said. I mean, that's just the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, you are living that example. Instead of telling them what to do, you're showing them this is how we do it. And so, I commend you for that. That is beautiful. And I really love how you built a business on something that you already loved. Like, you were able to take something that you love, something that you did, something that was very close to you. I'm sure you spent lots of hours, ballet dancers, in addition to everything you mentioned. I thought the pain, you had to learn how to dance through the pain, because when you're learning points, that is not a joke. Like, the bruises, the what's the word, the gallos, the
Yeah, you get the
the
blisters.
blisters, yes. It's insane, right? And so that is all mindset. Like, I was thinking about the time we went on a bike ride. It was a 15-mile bike ride, first time I've ever done anything like that. And what I realized was that the most uncomfortable part of it was the mindset. Like, it was just the boring time that you're just, right? And so it's all comes down to the mindset, because if you get your mindset right, you could be there all day, right? Like, you could just get into that momentum and go, but you're like, oh my God, I'm bored. There's nothing to look at, blah, blah, blah. And so making sure that your mindset is focused is just the most important thing. So I would love to know, in this journey, this amazing journey that you're on, overcoming yourself. That's the name of my podcast, because that's the name of my upcoming book. Did you have to overcome yourself as a dancer and as a business owner? How did that play into that journey?
Absolutely. And I think you have to really keep a visualization, an eye on actually what you want, an eye on the prize, whatever you want what you want to achieve, so that it can drive you forwards towards that. I'm all for, first of all, expressing gratitude for what you have, and because that helps you actually feel better about the journey that you're truly on, because then you start to recognize the small achievements that you're making. And it is small achievements that make that great achievement, that actually get you to where you want to be. Just put one foot in front of the other, keep going, but congratulate yourself. I think it's really important to congratulate yourself. Make sure, I believe, set that ultimate goal, set that absolute dream goal that you want to achieve, and then work backwards, break it down, and then each time you do that smaller goal, tick it off, pat yourself on the back, and that will really help you to keep motivated and keep going. For me, I made sure I surrounded myself with people that were supportive, that were going to lift me up. Along the way, I have to say that sometimes people who I thought were kind of my friends that were going to support me, they're no longer part of my life. I made sure that I had those that supported me really around to lift me up. And I think another important thing is, as I said, find yourself a mentor, find someone that's been there in the position that you are and knows how to help you get to the next step where you want to be. And really just make sure you have that. It is about having that gratitude and really thinking, I can do this. And a little saying that I have is if I'm struggling with something, I don't say to myself, oh, if I achieve this, this result will happen. I always go, how am I going to solve this? How am I going to achieve this? And the minute you change the if to a how, you're instantly in a different mindset. You're instantly looking for a solution, not thinking, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So that's kind of how I focused on overcoming some of the difficulties that we all have in kind of from everyday life to work to entrepreneurship, whatever it may be.
Yes, like you hit the nail on the head. So the big 3 sections in my book: gratitude, tiny success habits, your small habits that you do every day, right? That get us to the goal. And then adjusting your perspective to see what you thought was your weakness, what you always thought was that weakness. Like I talk too much, right? But it's actually my strength, right? It just bothered the people and I wasn't talking about the right things. And so I turned that weakness, what I already had, and I just learned to look at it differently. And now it's my strength because now people pay to hear what I have to say, right?
Absolutely love that. And it is about perspective as well. And so very true. I just love that. Yeah.
Yes, and so everything you said is exactly that. That is the framework for overcoming ourselves. Because when we do these things, right, we have to sit down and say, okay, what do I have? Like in this moment, I know I want this, but what do I have right now, right here, that I can start working with? So for example, when you went and ran after your kid and you were like, I ran out of breath. This is not okay. So you looked around and you didn't go join a big gym. You didn't go and buy some expensive program. You were like, okay, what do I already know? Let's start from there. I just have to learn how to re-implement that habit, because working out is a habit, right? It's just something that we've got to learn to incorporate into our daily routine. So I absolutely love how you broke that down into those tiny steps and you were like, I'm going to start where I was. When I was 21, I found out I had the back of an 80-year-old. Because I'd had an accident when I was a little kid, and then I'd worked in the restaurant industry. And so I had just compiled it and made it worse. And when I came home from the doctor, I was like, I want to start working out. I have to focus now on strengthening, right? So I'm not going to try to do like American Ninja Warrior or anything, but what can I do right now to make myself stronger? And I found a magazine article about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her personal training coach. She would go to the courthouse, to the Supreme Court, and they have like a little gym there, and this girl would work out with her. She's like, these are the workouts I would do. So I was like, if I have the back of an 80-year-old, I'm going to start working out like an 80-year-old, because if she can do it, I can do it, right? Right. So that's where I started. And I started from that. And now like I'm able to go paddle boarding, and like I was able to like build a business, and I was lifting boxes and I didn't hurt myself. And so in taking those tiny steps and starting where I was, I overcame myself, and I'm able to, I strengthened my back and I'm able to do things. So I love how you just turned that around and you just sat down and you're like, what do I have? And you started from there. And look where it's gotten you. Like you have this amazing business. You went on into another business. Tell me a little bit now about your books. I want to hear your best-selling author, so we got to know about that.
Well, I started off, my first book is How to Become a Fitpreneur, and that was all about really setting up your own health and wellness fitness business. That became an Amazon #1 best-selling book. Again, I couldn't believe it. It was a massive dream of mine, but if you believe it, you can achieve it. I was fortunate to do that and achieve that. And then I have co-authored with Jack Canfield a book called Success. And that was really about what I am exceptionally passionate about, which is self-belief. It is about being that flower that blooms, being truly who you are, and really expressing your own personality. Because for me, I think you're only truly successful in what you do when you be who you are. And as you spoke earlier, you said about your you thought your weakness was talking too much, but it's an incredible strength. But that's you, that's your personality, that's what you offer, that's what you give, that's how you give value to others. And when you utilize that, that's when things truly change. I think if we look back in business, for example, probably just under a decade ago, women used to aspire to behave like men in business, to be very male, and behaving and match, whatever you want to call it, behave in those manners. But that wasn't being real to themselves. It is only now, and I think women still have a long way to go in business, but I think now success is we're beginning to see more successful business women, more successful entrepreneurs, when they are actually utilizing their skills as a woman, their different thought processes as a woman, that they're becoming successful. So that book was all about, I've gone off on a tangent, but that book was all about kind of self-belief, and that was such an honor to co-author with Jack Canfield. I've recently released another Amazon bestseller, and that was called Don't Wait in the Wings. And that was also with I think it was 13 other female entrepreneurs, and it was very much about step out on that center stage, do it, take action, don't let life pass you by, don't go, I'll do it tomorrow, my turn will come tomorrow. It's about, if you've got a passion for something, take action, step out onto center stage, because you really don't know where that is going to take you, and it can take you to some amazing places. So the Don't Wait in the Wings, that, as I say, became a bestseller, and I had just worked with Brian Tracy as well on co-authoring with a book with him. So
that's amazing.
Everything is, I love books. I absolutely adore books. I love podcasts. Don't get me wrong. I love podcasts. I love, but sometimes it's so nice to have a book, take yourself away, and just digest the information that you're being given. And I think that can be a really good part of your self-development routine as well, to really get a good book, read 20 minutes, digest what you need, and use that part of your self-development routine. So yeah, I'm just super excited with, yeah.
That's amazing. Yes, I love books too. One of the things that I talk about in my book is that is one way that you can spend time with your mentors. Like if you have a mentor that charges like 25 grand for a program, right? And you're like, well, I don't have 25 grand to invest in them. Grab their book, start investing in the small things. You could go to Goodwill and buy a bunch of great books, or any thrift store. Don't get me started on the rise in prices in thrift stores, but you can go to thrift stores and buy books, and they're very much less expensive. And that's a way that you can spend time, invest in yourself, and spend time with your mentors and learn from them and implement the things that they teach, so that you can get those 25 grand or 100 grand or whatever it is that, and then you can get in the room as well, right? I love another thing that you mentioned that made me think of my book is, we're talking about like that adversity that happens.
Yeah.
And then we get to decide. And one of the things I mentioned in my book, I go into talking about, the superpower in our weakness. And I mentioned that is one of the big differences between a superhero and a supervillain. When we think about those movies, right? Both of them had an adversarial situation. Something bad happened to them. None of the superheroes that we know had a great upbringing. A lot of them lost a parent. Bad things happened to them. And the difference was their perspective, right? And then they chose, which road are we going to take this? Am I going to be the victim, or am I going to empower this, so this doesn't happen again, whatever. And so it's so important, that perspective, because bad things will happen and we have to decide which road we're going to take, right?
And I think, yeah, choice and decision. There's obviously you've mentioned perspective, but you have a choice in how you handle a situation. You have that choice. That's the only part that you can control. You can't control the situation, but you have a choice as to how you handle that situation. And I think, as you mentioned, having that choice is so important, and it is important to think about that so that you don't have that victim mentality. You have a mentality of making a positive choice in how you handle a situation. And then obviously there's a decision to take action with that choice. Yeah.
And it all comes from the mindset, right? Because that's where we have to practice gratitude. Well, things are going well. I was like, well, I don't need this right now. Well, that's where you are working on things, right? Because if I start working out, like I started working out, right? But like, oh, I was gonna go somewhere, but then this is gonna lead me on another tangent, and then we're almost out of time. Okay. Anyway, all right, so let's get back, because yeah, like I said, we're almost out of time. All right, so Rachel, I want you to tell me, do you have, I actually just hosted a summit for authors, and as a best-selling author, I wanted to know, do you have any top tips for authors who would like to become best-selling authors?
I really believe write from the heart. Write what you're talking about from your own. And this is more for obviously non-fiction, I'm non-fiction. So it is completely right from the, even with fiction, I suppose you write from the heart, but write about what you're passionate about. Clearly think about what your experiences, and how from your experiences can you use that to guide the reader into really getting something from and taking something away from what you've written. And for me, I think if you write from the heart, you can't really go wrong.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Thank you. Now, overall, because I was just specifically for authors, thinking about how you've overcome yourself, built your business, what is one of the top tips that you give entrepreneurs when you're helping them with their mindset, before I ask you how we can stay in touch with you?
Visualization. For me, it is about, I think I get everybody that works with me to write what I call is a life script. And that life script is about how you want to be in the future, how you want your life to be in business, in relationships, in family life, in material things, what you want, everything, so that you write that down. You then read it to yourself, record it. You can make a little video with it if you want. And I ask them to listen to that or watch it every single day. Because when you do that, the subconscious mind will begin to believe it is real. And when that happens, that's when you will start to take action. So that's the biggest thing that I work with my clients with at first, is we write a life script that's based on where they want to be, what truly in every aspect of their life.
That is amazing. And it's so powerful, because it's one thing to be like, go on YouTube and watch this meditation. And it's another thing to craft out that vision, to really think about it, to write it out, because there's so much magic when we write things out by hand, and then reading it out and hearing it in our own voice. That is so mega powerful. Like, if you're listening to this right now, stop what you're doing and go write a life script. That is so powerful, Rachel. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And like, I want to mention, millionaires, wealth-minded people, they actively spend time doing visualization. Okay, so this is not some woo-woo thing. This is something that you're doing to help your mind. This is about perception. Like the red car syndrome, right? Because when your subconscious is focused on something, you're going to notice more of it. And so these are things that you're doing to kind of prep your brain to help you see those opportunities. Oh my God, there's
For
so
sure.
much
Yeah.
amazingness. So Rachel, how can we stay in touch with you? Are you on social media? Your website, talk to me.
Yeah, so you can reach me on social media. I'm strong on Facebook, Rachel Withers HQ. Just DM me, I'll respond. You can check out my website, rachelwithershq.co.uk. Those are the best ways to reach out and get in touch.
That sounds amazing. Do you have a free gift available for our listeners?
Yes, if the listeners want, they just reach out to me and I will send them really how to set the foundations up to having a really successful business. And I'd be more than happy for your listeners to hop on a call and I can do a diagnostic of where they are right now and how we can get them to where they want to be.
No, that is amazing, Rachel. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All of those links, everything that she mentions is going to be down in the show notes, or down below, wherever it is that you're watching this. So make sure you go and check that out. Amazing resources from Rachel. And if you'd want to work with her, go check out that website, get in touch with her, do your consultation, and see the amazing goodness that Rachel can bring to you. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Rachel. This has been so amazing. You are just like a fountain of knowledge. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to get my hands on your books so I can spend time with you as one of my mentors.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will see you guys next time here on the Overcome Yourself podcast. Thanks. Bye.